Hey everybody, welcome to the Be Your Own Ginger podcast. I am so excited that we get to kickstart Be Your Own Ginger podcast on the 1st of October. And some of you might guess why my excitement is kind of like hyped. Some of you might not guess, but you'll find out in the next couple of days, okay? But I am super grateful that God has given us the opportunity to kickstart this podcast again. And I promise, by the grace of God and the help of the Holy Spirit and the ability to continue, I'm going to be presenting to us Be Your Own Ginger podcast every Wednesday on this platform. So let's get right into our very first segment of the podcast, the ginger energy we all need. You know that friend who always has your back? That friend who hypes you even when you're feeling down, celebrates your wins like nobody else does, and calls on your BS when you're acting crazy, acting foolish and stupid, when you're selling yourself short. Calls your BS like straight away. The one who believes in your dreams even when it seems impossible. That friend, that friend needs to be you. That friend needs to be you. In a world where we're constantly comparing ourselves with highlight reels, seeking validation from strangers on the internet, and waiting for someone else to give us permission to live, to be happy, to chase our dreams, we've forgotten something that is very, very unique and crucial. We are our own best investment. We are our own best investment. So, this podcast isn't about toxic positivity or fake it till you make it energy. It's about real talk. It's about authentic self love. It's about the kind of fierce self advocacy that changes everything. It's about becoming your own ginger, that person who shows up for you no matter what. And whether you're 22, trying to figure out what the hell you want to do with your life, or 35 and realizing you've been living someone else's life or someone else's version of success, this podcast is for you. You might be 35 and above, okay? Because there's no age range. It's for everybody. This podcast is for you. It's actually for anyone who's tired of being their own worst enemy and ready to become their own biggest fan. So let's get started. The relationship you have with yourself sets the tone that you have with everybody else, sets the tone you have for every other relationship. This is a saying by Robert Holden. And let's be real for a second. How many times have you put yourself last? How many times have you said yes to everyone else's priorities while yours just sits collected somewhere on the shelf and it's just there collecting all the dust? How many times? How many times have you treated yourself like your backup plan in your life? How many times? If you are nodding right now, you're not alone. Mm-mm. We've been conditioned to believe that putting ourselves last or is a humble thing to do. We've been conditioned to think that putting ourselves first is selfish. That self-care is just bubble baths and face masks, and that our dreams should take a seat, a back seat to everyone else's needs. That's a wrong narrative. And I want to just throw in a truth bomb. You can't pour from an empty cup. And you can't live a fulfilling life if you are constantly putting yourself on the back burner. You will be drained. You will end up hating everybody. You will end up feeling like everybody else is using you because you keep giving access, and you never take out the time to sit and collect, to fill in your own cup. One of the biggest self-care truths I've ever heard is that you cannot pour from an empty cup, no matter how much you want to give. Let's say a family member calls you right now and they're in need of 100,000 or $100 in 100,000 francs or $100,000 or $100. Which of that can, well, what I'm trying to say is if they call you and they're asking for something, money or anything, and you really have the heart to give, you want to give, but you don't have. And because you don't have, you can't give. And and if you can't give, you feel bad. You even feel worse than having and not being able and not wanting to give, right? And that's just what it means like for when it says that you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you do not build capacity enough, that will always keep you on the side of always of pouring into other people. There will come a time when, trust me, you will hate your life and you will hate those people that you keep pouring into. So please take care of yourself. Saying yes to everyone else's requests while your own goals sit unfinished is not humility. Constantly seeking validation from others before making decision is not humility. Believing that everyone else's time is more valuable than yours, it's not humility. Feeling guilty when you prioritize yourself is not humility. Waiting for the right time to pursue your dreams while you have just a little bit to kickstart the dream, that's not humility. It's not. Making yourself the main character, saying yes and showing up in all of your graces, honoring God with every ability that He's given you, serving humanity with God's ability, that is humility. That is humility. That's what being your own ginger looks like in practice. I don't want to stretch too much in this because we have a lot to talk about. So I'm just going to cool down with this one last statement. Set boundaries without guilt. Set boundaries without guilt. Know what is a no-no for you and hold on to it without any guilt. Keep yourself healthy. Keep your mind healthy. Keep your self-esteem healthy. Because that's the only way you can do that which God has called you to do. Okay? So be your own ginger. That is the ginger energy we need today. I'll see you on Wednesday in our next episode. Until then, keep being your own ginger.